Live now to Farid Hafez, who's in Vienna. He's a lecturer at the University of Salzburg. Thanks so much for joining us. What does this link that's been found say to you? Could there be some way to share information to avoid attacks like the one in New Zealand, or is this just evidence that the rise of the right is a worldwide issue?
I would rather suggest the second proposition. First of all, I'm not really surprised. First of all, the terrorist from New Zealand verbally expressed in his manifesto that he donated different sums of money to various different organizations all around the world who represent his kind of ideology. And as we know, there are many throughout the world. So this is not really a surprise, because especially, taking into consideration that the whole slogan from the identitarian movement, the Great Replacement, is basically the title of his manifesto, speaks very much to an ideological strong relationship here.
There's been some criticism, both of New Zealand and other countries, that there really needs to be a balance between national security and free speech. How do you think that countries across the world can try to target and make a dent in the rise of white supremacy, white nationalism?
Well, I think I am not the person that would suggest to kind of restrict freedom of speech. But I think the question that we should raise here as different, especially Western societies, is as how far has this mainstream racism become? To give you just one example, the identitarian movement and the person that is now being investigated in terms of receiving donations from the terrorist from New Zealand, he's somebody who is expressing and very much embracing the policies of the current government, which is a far-right government, but also in terms of, let's say, anti-Muslim politics. He has also embraced the politics of former governments that were nominally social democratic and conservative. So the issue, I think, at hand at this point is really like the question that we should pose to ourselves is, how mainstream and how normal has anti-Muslim racism become in our days? And I think that should lead to a critical reflection in all of our societies. And it's not really an issue of only the fringe right-wing groups who have certainly had a strong role in mainstreaming this kind of racism. But we should also raise the question as to how far these more subtle forms of institutionalized Islamophobia has become just common sense for so many governments in Europe.
I know that's a discussion that's very much going on in New Zealand right now. Thank you for that. That's Farid Hafez, live from Vienna.